Hi, it's Kamali taking you through the stories people are talking about and sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. The American comedian Roseanne blames sleeping tablets for her racist tweets that got her show axed from TV. Drake in blackface on the artwork for Pusha T's latest diss track. We'll take you through what could turn into one of rap's best beefs. Could journalists be jailed in Israel for filming the activity of the IDF? And what does this $1,200 Balenciaga t-shirt tell us about the world of high fashion? And top of our newsfeed is Roseanne. Her show's been pulled from the American network ABC for some racist, vicious and kind of weird tweeting in the past day or so. Well, this tweet did for her. It was about Valerie Jarrett, a former aide to President Obama. The comedian tweeted this: Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes equals VJ. Now, we've been talking about it all this morning and still can't see the humour in that tweet. Maybe we're just not funny enough. Well, that tweet was the final straw after a series of bizarre ones taking aim at Chelsea Clinton and George Soros, among others. The decision to cancel America's top-rated show was made by this woman, Channing Dungey. She's the first black female head of a major American TV network. Now, after she lost her job, Roseanne was back on Twitter saying, "I apologise, I'm truly sorry for making a bad joke about her politics and her looks. I should have known better. Forgive me, my joke was in bad taste." Now, in another tweet, she said she was going to leave Twitter, but a couple hours later, she was back on it, saying, "Guys, I did something unforgivable. Do not defend me. It was 2 in the morning and I was Ambien tweeting." Well, Ambien's a well-known prescription sleeping tablet in the US. She goes on to say, "I went too far and should not be defended. It was egregious and indefensible. I made a mistake. I wish I hadn't done, but please don't defend it." That was followed by another tweet where she's saying she'll defend herself and that she was tired of being attacked and belittled more than other comedians who said worse. And this was playing out for us all to see on Twitter, with people on both sides making their points. Now, some on the right of politics in the States were supportive of Ms. Barr and said she was exercising her right to freedom of speech. Like this guy, Oliver McGee, who said, "I'm black and I stand with Roseanne. She made a horrible joke and apologised." He says he sees comedians and actors make the same jokes and get applauded. But that was disputed by the right-wing Bible, The National Review, which lays out why this is not a freedom of speech issue and why her firing has nothing to do with political correctness. And while the MSNBC contributor Matthew Miller wrote, "You can't just say blatantly racist stuff and expect to keep your job. That is, unless you're the President of the United States." Now, what was said and the quickness of the network to say bye-bye to their biggest cash cow reveals a number of things about modern America. Firstly, the hatred one half of the country has for the other. Second, the power of social media and its feedback loop. And thirdly, the willingness of people to shout offensive things in a public place from the safety of their mobile phones. Now, Roseanne may be using sleeping tablets as an excuse, but her views are well known. I'm pretty sure they're the reason her show is the #1 rated in America. Let us know what you think. And now for some other stories that are trending on social media. The rap beef between Drake and Pusha T has gone next level after Pusha released this song, the story of Adidon, with this artwork. And yes, that is Drake in blackface makeup. He did a weird photo shoot a few years back and hasn't explained it yet. Well, the song itself is set to Jay's story of OJ and is a brutal response to Drake's Duppy freestyle, which took aim at Pusha and Kanye earlier in the week. And Push goes in. He references Drake's parents, his mental health, his mother, the mother of his son, and his best friend who has MS. Now, it's not nice, but the best friends never are. And Drake's name has been top trending on Twitter all day. So, Drizzy, what you got? Colombians are posting photos of vote counting slips from Sunday's election. The conservative hardliner Ivan Duque and the leftist Petro Gustavo will compete in a presidential runoff to be held before the 17th of June. Many slips appear to have been doctored to add extra votes for Duque. An Australian ski resort called Thredbo has banned toboggans and associated ski play, whatever that is. The internet has reacted by wondering if the ban is money related, as it's way more expensive to hire skis than it is to hire a sled or to bring your own. The resort reckons that toboggans are too dangerous and cause collisions on the slopes. Now, a flotilla carrying injured Palestinians from Gaza broke the Israeli blockade yesterday, but it was turned back before it could reach Cyprus. Yumna El Sayed was with them as they set off.
We are at the Gaza port today to witness the launching of the first freedom boats to break the sea. These boats are supposed to be heading to the Cyprus International Port, but only if they were allowed to leave Gaza.
عشان نعرف نعيش زي الناس الأخرى. أكثر من هيك إحنا مش طالبين نكسب عشان نعرف نعيش عيشة كريمة.
It's a small home port for the Palestinian fishing boats that are only allowed to sail within 6 nautical miles due to the strict imposed siege by the Israeli naval forces on the Gaza Sea.
والله أنا إن شاء الله مسافر على سفينة الحصار. أنا بطالب السلطة الفلسطينية وبطالب حماس وبطالب كل العرب بكفي اضطهاد فينا.
Yusuf and I have taken a small boat to be beside the Freedom boats to get a closer look on their way. There are 8 Freedom boats that have launched here today and 85 small boats, just like the one that we're in, that are supporting them in this march. The 85 small boats are going to stop by the 6 nautical miles, which is the end of the border that the Israeli naval forces allows the Palestinian fishermen to get to. Freedom boats are packed with people from all sectors. They have women, they have injured people, they have men, and they have people who are just trying to travel because they want to break the siege from Gaza. We are now escorting the last boat. This is the Freedom boat that is going to be crossing the borders. We are now at 5.5 nautical miles, and they will be crossing after the 6th nautical mile.
Now, we've all seen pictures of the violent treatment of Palestinians by the Israeli security forces. More than 100 were killed and thousands injured just a few weeks ago on the same day that the US opened its new embassy in the city of Jerusalem. Now, one member of the Israeli government has put forward plans to stop those moments from being captured on camera. Have a look at this.
Remember this iconic image of 16-year-old Fawzi al-Junaidi blindfolded and surrounded by more than 20 Israeli soldiers in the occupied West Bank? Or this leaked video of IDF soldiers cheering after they fire on an unarmed Palestinian in Gaza.
Yes!
While Israel could pass a bill which would mean filming or photographing this could get you 10 years in jail. In the wake of the IDF killing 116 protesters and injuring more than 13,000 in Gaza, Israel's defense minister, Avigdor Lieberman, has backed a proposed new law, which says, anyone who shoots a video or a photo or records soldiers while they are doing their job with the aim of disturbing the morale of soldiers and citizens will be sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. In case this is done with the aim of destabilizing the state's security, the perpetrator will be sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. It would also prohibit the sharing of videos or photos on social media or with the media. Robert Ilatov, the bill's sponsor, says that Israel is facing a disturbing phenomenon of NGOs documenting the IDF. The bill targets organizations like B'Tselem, a human rights group working to raise awareness of the occupation among Israelis. Mahsom Watch, a group of women who accompany Palestinians crossing Israeli military checkpoints. And Breaking the Silence, former soldiers who work to expose the truth about military service in occupied territories. The Palestinian Journalists Syndicate says it means that Israeli soldiers could commit more crimes and evade international justice. And while the IDF maintains that it's the most moral army in the world, Israeli soldiers have a long history of human rights violations and extrajudicial killings. Do some in Israel want to hide the abuse of Palestinians at the hands of Israeli soldiers?
Now, there's a growing concern that the Taliban in Afghanistan may have found themselves a new sponsor. Pakistan has long been accused of backing the terror group, and now Iran is said to be helping out too.
Has the Taliban found a new ally in Iran? The Afghan government says it has. The Taliban has repeatedly attacked the province of Farah that shares a border with Iran and recently almost captured the region in a major assault. The Afghan government says the attack was directly supported by Tehran and that fighters crossed over from Iran where they were trained and armed. Afghan officials have long accused Pakistan of aiding and abetting groups like the Taliban, but this is one of the first public statements in which they point fingers at Iran. So why would Iran support the Taliban? Afghanistan thinks it's water. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has long criticised the construction of dams on major rivers in Afghanistan that flow toward Iran. Those dams could impact the amount of free water Iran and Pakistan get from their neighbour. Afghan officials say Iran is supporting the Taliban to sabotage dam projects. They believe Iran wants to undermine stabilisation efforts by the US-led coalition in the region.
Evidence exists that proves Russia and Iran are providing the Taliban with some help, but there is not enough propagation of information done about it.
There's also the fear of Afghanistan's troubles spilling onto its neighbours. For Iran, it's the threat of Daesh in Afghanistan, the same forces that mainly target Afghanistan's Shia minority. So is Daesh pushing Iran closer to the Taliban?
All right, let's take you around the world for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. US President Donald Trump has held a campaign-style rally in Nashville and took the opportunity to repeat one of his famous but as yet undelivered upon promises.
I don't want to cause a problem. I don't want to cause. But in the end, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. All right? I don't want to cause any problem. But in the end, Mexico's paying for the wall.
And those words got this tweet response from Mexico's president. He wrote, "No, Mexico will never pay for a wall. Not now, not ever. Sincerely, Mexico." Now, remember this guy from earlier in the week, Mamadou Gassama. He saved a 4-year-old from falling from a Paris apartment block and was rewarded with French citizenship. Well, Mamadou is a recent migrant from Mali, and now he's been offered a job with the city's fire brigade. The world's highest paid magician will not be paying any money to one of his audience members who was injured during one of his tricks. David Copperfield was performing Lucky Number 13 when one of his 13 volunteers said he got hurt. The man, Gavin Cox, sued Mr. Copperfield to cover the cost of his medical bills. The court has just ruled that Copperfield is not liable to pay those costs, but during the hearing, they did make him reveal the secret of his trick. And remember, a magician never reveals his secrets. The secret here was a curtain and some passageways. Ooh, mystical. Now, we've all been enjoying the pictures of lava taking over Hawaii, but someone there wanted to make more use of the fact that the island's now so volcanically active. So he asked the US Geological Survey on Twitter if he could roast marshmallows over volcanic vents. And amazingly, the USGS wrote back saying, we're going to have to say, no, that's not safe. The vent is emitting sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, so they would taste bad. So, now you know. And last up, let's take you into the world of high fashion. This week, a new item of clothing was made available by the luxury French label Balenciaga. It's called the T-shirt shirt, and yes, it's as dumb as it sounds, and the internet was not having any of it. Here's Kim.
It's the multifunctional shirt of your dreams. Business up front, party at the back. This is Balenciaga's T-shirt shirt. Literally just a shirt on a shirt. And at $1,200 US, the internet is having a good old time. Many are guessing where the inspo came from. Pajama top meets Bible school student. Or maybe it's more of a divorced dad figuring out the laundry look. Laura thinks the joke is on us and that Balenciaga is making fun of the industry and it's not even meant to be worn. Whatever the origin, this is an unafraid designer. Here's the dry cleaning shirt, a shirt which is also, you guessed it, a dry cleaning bag. And this is Balenciaga's $2,000 shopping tote, which the internet quickly pointed out bears a striking resemblance to IKEA's 99-cent bag. Fashion taking inspo from the darndest places is nothing new. Take these boots, this courier collection, or this McDonald's bag, which is down from $1,265 to just $500. Bargain. Designers, it appears, are masters at convincing us to part with cash to look cool. And even as the internet has a lull over it all, when pieces like this go viral, they're even more likely to sell out.
That's not a bad looking shirt. That's all from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Follow, subscribe, and add. See you again tomorrow.